Ravanya, I'll begin with you. Considering this recommendation has been given and it has been put out by the Congress MPs, this point that we just moved an amendment seeking the OBC quota, the quota within quota, and an immediate implementation might just delay the implementation of the bill and the passage in the Rajya Sabha. How is the Congress moving away from its own 2010 position?
Could you explain what do you mean by moving away from the 2010 stand?
There was no part of the OBC quota back then when the Congress had introduced the bill. Now suddenly the entire backing is on this. Of course, it's a removal from what your earlier stance was.
It is not a U-turn, Griha, if I may correct you. It's not a U-turn. We are just requesting that the OBC women must also be added. I'm sure anyone in this country will agree. Everyone in this country will agree that the OBC women must get more representation. I don't think that should be a problem at all. But yeah, it's a very exciting bill, but it's a little disappointing because BJP has the brute majority and every party is supporting this bill. Why should women be shown an open door but asked to wait for 7 years to enter through that door? That's a little disappointing.
No, that was also part of the argument that was made in the Lok Sabha by all your leaders, whether it's Sonia Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi for that matter. But why suddenly these amendments in the upper house of the parliament?
We need to, always, Griha, if we have missed something, it is a duty of the policymakers to ensure that they course correct, and the course correction is happening. All we request a request from the central government is you have the political strength. You also must exercise the political will and pass this bill and not make women wait for some more years.
Okay. Ms. Rathore, Ms. Rakhee Rathore, I'd like you to weigh in on this, on these recommendations, on these amendments that have been in fact presented in the Rajya Sabha. But I'd also like you to weigh in on what the Home Minister had said in the Lok Sabha, where he'd agreed that any kind of shortcoming in this particular bill is going to be dealt with in future. So does that mean that OBC quota within quota is going to be implemented?
No, that is not a problem behind. In fact, the main intention is that how we should move forward for the empowerment of women. That is the most intention in the first intention which we are having. And this is the hypocrisy of Congress party, because the same bill, in fact, in 2010 they came up with a bill without OBC quota, and now they are batting for OBC quota this time. And yesterday they supported us. In fact, yesterday we got support from all other parties as well, who in fact in 2010 didn't support Congress. So that clearly shows that other parties, they think that, they believe that if Modi ji hai to mumkin hai, and that is why they have supported us yesterday. They know that if something would be started by Modi ji, he will definitely complete it. And the main intention is that and we want to ensure that there should not be any legal complications while implementation of this bill, and that is the main motive, that why we want to get it implemented after 2026 census and after the formation of delimitation commission. And that is the main purpose, because we want it to, this is not a kind of thing which the Congress has done, because they got it passed from Rajya Sabha in 2010 but didn't introduce the bill in Lok Sabha. That shows their intention, that what they wanted, they wanted to do a symbolic work. But we don't want to do it symbolically. We want to get it implemented on ground, and that is the main purpose behind it.
Okay, I'll go back to the symbolic point that you're making. I'd go back to that point that you're making, but let me actually get in my other speakers. Reena Dhaka is also with us. Reena, you were the special invitee in the new parliament. First of all, this is a historic step. It's moving towards completion. Your reactions to this? Would you say this is much delayed? It is going to get even further delayed, moving into 2029, maybe even beyond? Or do you think this is the step in the right direction?
Look, it is definitely the best step in the right direction. First of all, I agree that finally we have opened the doors to this date, even though it is very late, as we can all be. We're women here on this panel, and we can all agreeably say that. But yes, 9 years is a very long time. To be honest, I really thought it was 4 years. And I thought that was reasonable, because maybe by the time it gets implemented and we see a kind of a deliverance, up to 4 years one can see it. And 9 years is a hellishly long time. Yes, it is true. And if we can do things overnight, then surely we can put this bill also into play at a quicker speed, considering it's had the vote of everyone. Even the fiercest of foes have sort of got together for a change and agreed to vote on this. I also think, as an outsider, because someone like me, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to say we're not connected with politics. We all are, because you make decisions and rules which change our lives every day. So I also hope that all these play of the parliamentarians and people who are going on with it, they would create such a system wherein the eventual efficacy of such a bill will come into play, and those hundreds of schemes and the reservations they're talking about, they will help improve and bring about a visible change in those, especially in the ones who need it the most, the remotest parts of India, be it education, healthcare, security, equal job opportunities. Those are very important, crucial, confidence building requirements of the women of India. There is hunger, there is poverty, there are a lot of old world ideas and schemes which prevent girls from going out sometimes to study, to take up normal course of action. So how do we make our streets safe, for one? So yes, there is a lot in that, but I hope this bill comes through sooner than 9 years, for sure. It has been the talk of it's on everybody's lips all over the world, and I'm very happy that I was there at that great day, that great moment. So I want to see it through.
So Rakhee, you've heard two panelists who are also talking about immediate implementation. I'll come back to you on that point of whether the Congress was looking at just a stamp by getting it passed in the Rajya Sabha and not introducing it in the Lok Sabha. But let me bring in Mary John also on this. Mary, there was a PIL that was filed before the Supreme Court in 2021 seeking reservation of women in the field of politics and otherwise. Do you think it was an easier step that's been taken by the Modi government, considering that response was being sought by the government, by the Supreme Court, and this was a sort of an easier access, and it was something that was laid open, and there can be a better statement that now can be made vis-a-vis political posturing also. I think you're on mute, Mary.
Thank you, Griha. So I would certainly, at the very outset, I would like to say that, whether this is some result of a political posturing or a response that the government is trying to say, I wholeheartedly, it's my personal view that this is a great development, and this will certainly go a long way to giving women that voice and that stand in the highest corridors of power. They have their voice now in the lawmaking process and also in the shaping of the legislative direction of the country. Now, I've been hearing the remarks about the whole implementation. Are we going to have to wait as long as 9 years? Unfortunately, I've also read the bill. The implementation process is very strictly linked to the undertaking of a census. And based on the results of that census, there will be a delimitation process. As you know, this involves a very detailed redrawing of the constituencies based on the demographics. So by the time all of this comes about, I know for certain that even the census that we know of now will probably only shape up post the next general elections. And then when it comes to delimitation, that process itself could take considerable time. So now the question is, I certainly think this is a great, in my personal opinion, this is certainly a great step in the right direction. And if there is a way for the processes to complete itself quicker and better, it would go a long way. Already we've seen at the panchayat levels, at the gram panchayat levels, at the at other higher levels of the panchayat system. Already women are making an immense contributions. They have a say in how the policies are impacting their lives, their children's lives, their education, their surroundings, their hometowns. So I think this would be a great way for women to be initiated. And with this, we already know that India will be one of the 64 nations who provide reservation for women in the legislatures, and this would certainly go a long way.